Oi! Hello there, it's another replay video from us here at Siege Rhino Gaming, once again with our terrible title card. I'm sure we'll come up with something better eventually. It's Holt here with Taffstaaa with me today.
Hello.
Yeah, so say hello again.
Hello.
Yeah, I control you. I am the Hello Master. No, that
Oh.
was terrible. Anyway, yes, so here we are, moving on to the right screen. We have a game here that I played on ranked a couple of days ago, where I won't necessarily spoil it yet, but it was an interesting game, and I really want to take another look and see where I went right and where I went wrong. And Taffstaa's here to help keep me honest and call me out on shit, because God knows I deserve it. So
Fair.
on the count of three, we'll unpause. So one,
Cool.
2, 3. There we are.
Lovely.
So I don't know what I'm doing with the villager around the house, but I don't think it matters a huge amount. Two sheep go in. My scout decides to chill out with the sheepies.
Why not, man?
Why not? They're great company.
Horses need animal company.
Yeah, absolutely. It must get lonely being a scout sometimes, you know?
Must
Sent into the bleak blackness of the world and
To get killed by 3 to 4 villagers.
yeah, absolutely 3 to 4 villagers or run under an enemy fortification. I decide that being polite to my enemy is more important than scouting.
Yeah, I mean
that's
that
my
is
first
factually
error.
incorrect.
Yeah,
but-
absolutely. My first politeness is only afforded to winners.
Well, hopefully he does the same.
Yeah, hopefully he does this. Absolutely. I should probably go all visible, I suppose, to see what my opponent is doing.
Oh, you're quite close together.
Yeah, and to one side as well. Okay, he's pushing an ostrich.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Next lever.
Yeah, next level. I think I end up. Actually, I'm not going to say that. I don't know if I do push in this game. Cool. So I go for my backish wood line.
I mean, sort. Yeah, I mean, you probably think that's a back woodland at this point, don't you? To be fair.
Yeah, it's one of the least problematic of the. And then I'm being a lucky bastard, all my sheep are together.
Yeah.
Although they're all on the front as well, so like maybe there's another. I wouldn't call it lucky because there's another universe where they get stolen.
I don't love that gold location.
It's all right. It's going to be hard-ish to wall off.
Don't like those berries either.
Yeah, the berries are really toxic. So the berries are really nasty. I am not a fan, and that basically rules out a scout start for me because I can't really go scouts. If
Do you ever go scouts with Saracens?
yes, you can do. I mean, you often build into what you need to build. Because even though it would probably be more optimum to for the Saracens to always go archers, like if you're going archers into a civ that has like a good Saracen start, then a good skirmisher start, then you want to be considering like actually do I go into archers here, like do I go into something faster? For example, if I'm against a civilization that can tower rush, for example, you should go scouts because you use the scouts to intercept the villagers as they come in for the towers, and that sort of thing. You know, you shouldn't hamstring yourself. And in this case, for example, even if I were the Franks, for example, even I would be like, do I still want to scout rush because my berries are so far forward, right? Because like he just wanders over with like 4 archers and he takes me off food and then I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like that's like the logic.
Certainly not ideal.
Yeah, and it's the same with gold. Like it's the opposite with gold. If you have a big forward gold, then you have to hesitate about archers because if you're taken off gold, then you know the game gets infinitely harder as a result. Okay, so he is a villager ahead of me, so I must have had some idle time at some point. I think I picked up loom. Did I pick up? No, I didn't pick up loom. I'm just terrible.
Stop trying to hide your misplays through explaining them cleverly.
Yeah, no, well, you know, I fact checked myself there. But yeah, so I'm about 30 seconds behind, I think. Well, not 30 seconds, about
Left
10
a bit
seconds
of food
behind
on
my
that.
villagers.
Left a bit of food on that boar.
I've got two villagers gathering on it.
Oh,
But
yeah, that's
yeah,
fair. I'm just trying to call you out.
But you know, you're absolutely right. That's a suboptimum boar pull. Like what I should have done was maybe lure the boar in and then garrison the villager and then sort of keep baiting it until that boar was over. So maybe
Yeah.
that's something for me there.
Your scout is like, a what?
Let's have a look. Oh yeah, I sort of sent him to the corner.
Where are they?
Yeah. Where? No. Walling to my berries, it turns out was a bad play, but you'll find out.
Okay.
You'll find out later. Cool. The piggy's going down. Let's start another lumber camp. So this is just like my generic 22 so 23 pop archer build.
Yeah.
This is about as basic bitch as I get as a player. I find his base. I run directly under his town centre.
Pro moves.
Pro moves. I dodge the final arrows though, so I get away with it. But low scout, which is a problem. Means I can no longer engage in fights with it.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't seem to do much with his scout for a while there. He's idle for quite a while. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. Let's have a look at how his explores the map. Okay, so he's just kept very close to his base and then kept close to my base because he found my base nice and early, whereas I sort of had to take the long way around, which was a bit frustrating. Cool. So I've gone into feudal. He's gone into feudal much earlier, but he's done it on 20 villagers, whereas I've done it on 22 villagers. So looking at his build, he's going for like a... Based on what I can see, it's like a scout build of sorts.
Yeah, he started off a 4 on wood, didn't he?
Oh, did he? I didn't check. That's fair. In that case, he kept his options open, so I'm not sure what his strategy is. I can tell you what he ended up doing, but I'll let that wait.
Oh no, I think I'm wrong actually. I think he did start off with 3 on wood. Unless has he taken that villager off wood to build the barracks? That's what I was querying.
Yeah, I think he did. Look, it's got wood in hand.
Yeah, so he went for 4 start.
Yeah. So he's just hit feudal a tiny bit before me. I don't feel terrible about that. Like, he went for the earlier feudal. He was slightly ahead of me, and that's something I need to work on. And he's built the scout. Yep, he's going scouts, which is exactly what happened in game. I ended up with scouts. Do I see that?
I think you must have seen it.
Yeah,
then,
I do see the stable.
Yeah.
So at this point, my barracks isn't even up yet because I'm a pleb. But
Did
I then
he
immediately
donk your villager there?
What was that? Sorry.
He donked your villager there, didn't he?
Where?
The one building the barracks.
I
think that's why I think that's why it slowed down. He donked.
Did he doink it?
Yeah, I think he donked it.
I didn't see that. Oh, shit. Oh, as in, like, did he kill it? Or...
No. Just
that's the one with the low HP, I see.
Yeah, so I think it retreated it for a few seconds, so it did slow you down. There you go, he's up back on it.
Yeah, so he's got in with 2 scouts now, which is really, really frustrating. Like, as soon as I saw him go scouts, I should have built a couple of spearmen just to support the rest of my wall going up. Like, that's...
you do?
Yeah, but I've only just started. Like, as soon as I see that stable, I should have been like, right, let's just build 3 spearmen. Like, only 3 spearmen. Don't blow out of proportion. But just, like, 1 spearman.
No upgrades. Has he got a... He hasn't built a blacksmith yet, so they're going to be vanilla scouts.
And that's fine. I mean, to be fair, I actually don't think you should upgrade your scouts in feudal. You're like, unless you are absolutely confident that you can put the kibosh on him, I think just leaving them unupgraded is absolutely fine because that leaves your options open for what you want to do next. So like, he's building an archery range because he's seen me building an archery range, and I can tell you for free this because he's going to go skirmishers. Scouts into skirms. That's his plan. Then
you're going to be walled up for the next attack, though, so that's a little bit.
Frustratingly, he's now like 4 villagers ahead as well, which is really not good. Like, I must have just idled my town centre at some point, like while I was dealing with all of that. Because like I shouldn't be 4 villagers behind.
Practice what you preach, mate.
I mean, absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Okay, you've got a nice little you're massing your archers. There is now a hole due to the berries, but
yep, and that's what he takes advantage of. Really good, like probing my defenses from him. He just doesn't stop looking, And then, yeah, he comes in with the scouts, which is super frustrating.
I often think with the scout rush, it's good to just click in the base, and then if there is a hole, they will find their own
Oh,
way in.
I agree. I do it all the time. I find a lot of holes that way. Oh, I could have doinked one of his scouts there. I just don't look at the HP bar. But by this point, I have 3 spears, 5 archers, and I'm feeling pretty confident that I can put to death his stuff.
Yeah.
But it does force me onto the defense when I'm already behind in villages.
5 behind now as well.
Yeah. It's going to be a bit more... There we are. I've got one. Oh, that spear did the attack animation, but it didn't deal any damage. Huh, weird. That's fair. So he then just, like, stays there out of line of sight. At this point, I probably should have... No, I remember I actually stand by this. I stay by my resources because I'm like, I can deal with him wandering around there. I have no problem with him wandering around there. It's if he comes to try and disrupt my gold, then I'm in trouble.
So hence why you're keeping your army at your gold.
Yeah. And then
So what's
they
he
wander off.
doing behind this now? He's just sort of booming.
Yeah. What I've done now is I've sent my army off, but with spearmen to build in the barracks.
Yeah.
With my logic that, like, as my army moves out, spearmen will come in. Unfortunately, he comes in just a little bit earlier than I was anticipating, which I think is my bad. I think that was impatience on my part.
You don't. Oh, you do lose it. Yeah, you do lose a bill.
I lose a bill, which puts me like a full 9 behind him now. Like I am not doing so hot this game.
No, it doesn't seem. The score's still relatively close.
Yeah, I think that's because I've been able to maintain good production of military, not through my villagers. Because like our population levels are actually pretty similar. It's the villagers that are the problem.
A few idols here, which I'm not happy about, to be honest with you.
And idle TC as well. Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That was terrible. And then here the skirms come out. And like last game, this is what I said, like the fact he gets into Castle Age before me, despite building that many skirmishers, means there's something wrong with my play, and this is it, right? Like this is... So, people who are watching this weren't privy to this, but I said this to Ben when I was doing a little post-match analysis myself, and it's that like I just knew that something was going wrong when that was the case. As for the skirmishers, a part of me is I don't have archer armor, which I think is the biggest problem with trying to engage with that group.
So he's nearly at castle now, looking at his resources.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm just not building anything because I'm so flustered by the scouts.
And that scout rush was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. He was really mobile with the scouts. He was so you know, like he just knew. There we are. And I've got like this critical mass of archers now, and I don't like. I make probably the definingly bad mistake in this entire game. Or do I? Can I remember?
I think that's a pretty good fight.
No. It's a great fight. What I do is then I sort of head south to try and move in. Oh no, I don't make the mistake. Never mind. I thought I hesitate there, but I don't. I just go in. I think I hesitate outside his wall. I think there's some hesitation here, and I think that's what genuinely like that goes from me being in a bad place to me losing the game.
Yeah.
Because like I have all this military, like a huge military, right? I am out militaring, like I outperform 2-1 on military, and
Nice little bit of chat going on there.
Yeah, he had to pause the game, so. And like so, I've got so much military, and I just don't use it. Like I run up to his base.
I mean, this looks good at the minute, to be honest with you.
And with this many archers, right, I should have picked this fight, but I don't. I back off. What? Like, why don't I continue the fight?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like, I think at this point I need to make my own luck. Because, like, he's killed a few of my villagers. I know I'm behind here, but, like, I'm behind. I just happen to have a lot of military. And, like, I need to make luck. And then that's it, my window's done. As soon as Castle Age is in, I know he already has stables, like my window's gone. I have to retreat because I know that knights are going to be coming in any second now. So
Just more of a not just a question really. Is it not worth keeping 4 there just to harass woodlines and stuff? And
no, because they'd probably all die. Because his first knight will be on the way. Well, he opted not to build one, but like if I'd actually gone aggressive on him, he could have just built a knight and wiped out like 4. I mean, maybe like use my scout to sort of see where his woodlines are. I think that's an option, but I just think what I've learned from like engaging an enemy who's in Castle Age with feudal archers is a bad move.
yeah.
Because especially is what I choose to do here is that I choose just going to Castle Age myself.
I just think potentially like small attacks might fluster him a little bit, slow him down.
I think that's a fair point. I think that's a very fair point. But I also think that like I'm the one who's flustered here, and so like to be fair, I'm not thinking about that. That's not a defense. It just means that I'm not necessarily thinking about doing that. But as an objective idea, I think. See, there's the knight. I just know that like knights just tear. I mean, I have 5 spearmen though, so maybe you're right. Maybe I do just stick around for a little bit. It's just I've had a lot. I think what I'm doing is I'm projecting. I've had a lot of bad experiences where I have a shit ton of archers and I'm ahead in the game, and then I throw it all away by just sticking around a little bit too long, and 3 knights come up and wipe out every single archer I have. But in those games, I don't have 7 spearmen. So who knows? Maybe it goes differently. But because he has the skirms as well, he can pick off the spear. It's hard to know.
Yeah, difficult.
Like I think you're right. I think I could have definitely exerted more pressure there, and I'm very aware of that. Like I could have kept him off his gold for much longer. But yeah, and here come the knights. They're just
which isn't ideal.
no. I also think I make a mistake here as well because. Do I go into knights myself? No, I go into mangonels. So I go into mangonels, which is not necessarily a bad play, especially given my army composition that I've got going on. Like I can protect the mangonels quite nicely, and they're a good way to deal with his skirmishers. But I forgot, I completely forgot looking at the tech tree that Malians like pivoting into knights because their cavalry get +5 attack later on.
Right. Okay.
Which means
Yeah,
that like
palisades melting.
yeah.
Nice mango shot though. That's a decent
Yeah,
fight.
that's a solid fight. Absolutely, like you know, this is fine. And like pikeman's coming in as well, which makes it even harder for him to engage on me. Do I? Yeah, I have my second town center right now, which is good. I think I also struggle to mass military at this point. I almost just there's a period around now where I just forget to build any more army. It's almost like I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine, I'm done. I don't need any more army at this point.
Yeah.
And I just, as you can see, I just stopped building any, and like I'm stockpiling the wood and the gold as well. So it's not like I can't afford it. I just don't. And I think that's the final mistake I make. Because what you're going to see in a minute is this army just getting completely obliterated because he continues to mass knights and I don't continue to mass anything else.
Oh yeah, he has a tasty amount of knights there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Like, I just get complacent. I think like this game is by no means lost right up until this point here. I think.
Yeah, this is brown trousers time.
I try and get on the hill, but he very correctly like. Swoops round to the very top of the hill, robbing me of the advantage. Like, I should have just made a beeline to the top of the hill.
Yeah.
But he gets on top of the hill and then can attack down it at me. And that's really scary.
That is brown trousers.
Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, like, the fight goes well-ish.
Yeah.
But, like, I inflict more losses than I deserve. But it just doesn't impact him, you know? Like, even like for him in this position, because I had so much military over him and it was the only thing I had over him, just walking away with like a zero-sum game is a benefit for him. Especially, it's like he's now a full 20 villagers ahead. My military was the only thing keeping me in this game. And because I keep forgetting to produce it, it goes woof. That's frustrating.
No, that is frustrating, and he is just continuing to mass knights. He's playing pretty well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's playing very, very well. I mean, this is one of those games where it's like, I mean, yeah, I could have played better. He was also very like playing at the top of his game as well. Like I don't want to do him dirty and be like, oh, I didn't, you know, oh, this just wasn't me playing at my best, and like, you know, there's a universe where I win this. I'm like, well, maybe there is, but like, he is playing very well as well. And he's got fully upgraded knights in my base now, and like because as I said, I've been really shockingly bad.
What's your mindset like at this point?
At this point, I'm still kicking myself for not massing units because I'm aware that I've made that mistake now. Because like I now know that I've made that mistake. So I built the extra archery range, as you can see, and I've like rush built 10 pikemen, but I don't have the barrack to support it.
And why are you still building mangonels?
Because, well, those were still left over, I think, from the queue from when I got wiped out. In my mind, and this is a really bad reading of the game, I think, I'm just an army rebound away from being back on the aggressive.
Yeah.
And so I like to use those mangonels to push forward. Also, I'm aware that I'm building an army of crossbow and pikemen. Like, if he goes elite skirmisher again, and he has the archery range to do it, because I saw I know he has skirms. I'm like, I need an answer to those skirmishers, and the mangonels are that answer. But
yeah, but he's no longer building skirms.
Yeah, but I mean, this is almost like to keep him honest, I think. But I mean, also notice that I stop building the mangonels as soon as he starts like presenting as his main threat. Like it's one of those things where like I'm perhaps a little slow. Like maybe one of those mangonels doesn't get made, but at least 2 of those were being built while I was still fighting on that hill. So I thought that I was still going to be pushing in on that town centre in the north.
And I suppose it gives you sort of reserve to do the mango war that'll likely ensue from knowing you're an archer.
So like, okay, so here we are. So he's now a full 30 villagers ahead of me. So a shocking indictment of my TC management in this game.
And you've lost quite a few, haven't you? To be fair.
And then.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade. That's not too bad. What's he coming forward? Is it a castle? No, barracks.
No, that comes later.
Yeah, that's a massacre.
Yeah, and this is functionally game. If we want, we can move it to a fast playback speed, so we can just skip through the rest.
Yeah, that's
like,
fine.
This is where the game is over. So on the count of 3, we'll go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
There we are. So I've just moved it to the 2 arrows. So he drops the castle forward.
Yeah.
And slaughters a load of villagers there. And then this is effectively me just like trying my best to like cling in there. In my mind, I'm like, if I produce enough pikemen, I'll be able to hold him off long enough to win.
Yeah, and you are massing pikemen.
Whereas I think the correct play, possibly, when I saw him going knights, if I'd remember he was going knights, I think the correct play was maybe I start off with archers, because as I said, my berries didn't really allow for a scout start, but maybe I pivot into camels.
Yeah, or you could go monks, could you not? You've got quite a lot of gold.
I mean, like, I'm talking more earlier on in this game. I don't think right now, I physically don't think I can gather the resources to pivot into camels right now.
Yeah.
Like, right now, yeah, I think some monks could be useful in picking off, like, 1 or 2 knights, but he has so many knights that, like, one or 2 monks is just not going to make a difference, I don't think. As I said,
look at that gold count currently. If you're just massing pike, could you not mass monks at the same time?
Yeah, but being completely honest with you, like, trying to convert that many knights with monks is just, it's probably not impossible, but I find it impossible. Because I'm terrible at monk micro.
So this is GG now, right?
Yeah, and then here the longswords come in, and this is the point where I realised that if you can mass that many longswords at basically no notice, then you've lost.
Yeah.
Like, well, sorry, I've lost. Because this is my final gambit, was to try and throw like.
Yeah, I mean that's quite impressive siege round production, to be fair.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't go into like longbow, as I said, my plan here, I'm not saying if it was right or wrong. In fact, I'm fairly certain it probably was wrong, but let's return to the map. Was that if I can produce enough pikes, I can stay in the game and stabilize. And I kind of had to hope that he makes the mistake of staying into knights. And so my plan was to support the rams with a load of pikes. But then he comes in. I don't see all of these really. I only see them when it's like too late. Fog of war. Yeah, I can't do it anymore. I don't see. I think I see one early on, and I'm just like, I think I should have taken that to mean that he built a lot more. But I don't realize that he's built. How many is that? Like, I can find out. 10 barracks.
Yeah, and he's got like 30 long swordsmen.
11 in total, yeah. And that's the direct counter to pikemen, right? And also because they're Malian, they have loads of pierce armor, so I can't like fight them off. Like, even if I had the stone for castle, which I have stone for no castles. Even if I had the stone for a castle, it doesn't matter because these two-handed swordsmen would tear that castle to pieces. So it was that pivot that really sort of just like absolutely threw me. But
well, I think
the game was
he played. Yeah, he played really well there. I feel that.
Absolutely, but if I were looking to play better, I think not stopping my military production, I think, was one thing that I think potentially cost me. I think at that point when I know that I'm behind, and I know that I'm at least a few villages behind, I think I need to commit to like an all-in strat, and I didn't go all in. I sort of like held back, which I think led to my demise.
Yeah.
I think just not losing as many villagers, I think that would be shit hot. Less idle time, great. Who wouldn't?
I'd take that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like being, by the end of the Castle Age, I was just like arbitrarily like, what? How many villages was I behind? Like 8 villages behind, and like that's not hot. No, it's not even by the end of the Feudal Age. Sorry. Yeah. So I mean that's unfortunate. And there are about things. I think to try and end on a positive note, things that I did well. I think that initial mass of crossbowmen was a good idea, and I think that although you're right, there was potentially some value in like harassing a little bit. I still think I like my idea of bringing them back, upgrading them to crossbow, and then going in for realsies this time. Because I was just sort of waiting for that Castle Age power spike to come along. And it was a good number of crossbowmen. In fact, as I said, one of my critiques was that it could have been bigger. I think I was housed a bit much in that game. If I remember correctly, there was a lot of panic housing. And yeah, I think especially on the more later side of that game, I think I had too many villagers on gold. I think there was something to be said about maybe like divvying up my resources a bit better. And just like not using the berries as part of my walls.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's not a great idea, is it? But
a very, very easy thing to fix that would have basically thwarted his scout rush, because everywhere else I was walled up basically, apart from this little bit in the north, and even that was getting walled up pretty fast. Not building the spearmen as soon as I saw the scouts, like little things like that, Like I think those things knocked me off balance, and then that fight on the hill completely knocked me over. But there you are. That's.
You're not going to win every game of Age of Empires.
Definitely not. No, it wouldn't be anywhere near as heart-stoppingly fun if you did.
Facts.
Absolutely, we're here for the adrenaline. Age of Empires 2 players are actually adrenaline junkies. Like some people do bungee jumping, we just get over ladder anxiety.
Yeah. Which happens very slowly in my,
well, you've been doing very well. So that's kudos, shout out to you, Taffstaaa. You won a game earlier today, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Nearly 1,000 elo. Big
times.
Whoop.
We love it. Right, anyway, we'll let people go now. But thank you very much.
Yes.
If anyone's watching, thank you for watching. And,
indeed, thank you very much.
And we'll hopefully see you soon.
All right, see you later.